as far as, oh, cool. We're being recorded now. So again, thank you for jumping on. Just really quick, we're just going to do, I'll introduce myself. We have quite a few people on here. So if the program directors want to do a small introduction, hey, that would be great. If not, we'll jump right into the meat and potatoes of everything, because I know everybody's super excited to hear what we're doing with the psychomotor skills exams coming up. And then if we have some time, there's some other newsletter things that I would like to go over. But just super quick. So you guys know I'm Dr. Dan Wojcicki. I'm the new training center program manager. But just a brief history about me is so I'm 30 plus years in fire and EMS, whether it was ambulance operations or flight paramedic, and then 30 years with the fire department. I recently retired about 2 years ago. I left the fire department to actually become a base hospital manager here in Tucson, and then now I'm over here at the Arizona Department of Health Services, which was a better fit for me just in general. But I do have to I have a small disclaimer. The doctor in front of my name, I'm not a medical doctor. So I'm a doctor of education with the emphasis in social science. A lot of people want to know, what does that actually mean? It means that I did a lot of studying on nonverbal communication. And so what happens is when I talk to people or interview people, all that kind of stuff, I watch body language to see, not that anybody's lying, but just kind of, do you want to be in the conversation? Where are we going? Those kind of things. But so I'm a body language kind of guy, nonverbal communications. And if you ever see me passing you in the hallway, staring at you, I don't mean to be rude. It's just something I can't turn off. I'm just always watching the body language. So with that, that's kind of a small introduction into who I am. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, that would be amazing. Like I said, we have 28 people on board, so it might take a minute, but I'll leave that up to the program directors. If you want to, I see Mark is on the line. If you want to introduce yourself right quick.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Cummins. I currently am the program director for a school called Safety Unlimited. We have a training center in Glendale. My background, I'm a paramedic. I've been in EMS for 35 years, nationally certified EMS educator, run numerous EMS programs. I'm actually based in California, run numerous EMS programs, both California and our Safety Unlimited Center in Arizona. Paramedic, 28 years, flight paramedic, ambulance, fire service, retired from the fire service 5 years ago. And just as a side note, I actually chair the EMS Education Committee in California in Ventura County, and I'm actually in charge of the committee who is redesigning skill sheets for our local area. And I also sit on the state of California program directors committee, who's also on that committee doing the skills. So I can give you some insight on those as well. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I can't really see everybody, so I can see. Sorry, Andrew, I can see your face. So can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, no problem at all. Hey, everybody. My name's Andrew Johnston. I've been the program director for LifeWork Education in Peoria since August last year, so just about 10 months. But been a medic for about 14 years, off and on program director and instructor over all those years, and currently just running our programs, paramedic program in Peoria and EMT program in Mesa.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And like I said, just because I know we have a lot to discuss, is there anybody else out there in the virtual world that would like to introduce themselves to the group? Awesome. Lively group this morning. No worries. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. So as you guys know, National Registry is going away from the psychomotor skills exams. But with that said, the state of Arizona is not. So we needed to come up with a plan fairly quickly on what are we going to do for psychomotor testing. So in a nutshell, here's the plan. We're not really deviating away from how National Registry was doing it. So quick history, you guys probably already know this. When you are going to take your exams, you would ask National Registry, hey, send us our testing materials. We're going to do our final exams. Same exact thing, except you'll email me, right, about 10 days, not about 10 days before you're going to do a final exam for your course. I will send you testing materials that look fairly identical for the most part to the National Registry. What will happen is the program director will email me. I will send you a testing packet with instructions and all your skills sheets. What happens from there is you do the skills evaluation. You have skill sheets for all of your students. You keep your skills sheets, however you do your filing. You keep those because that's where if you get audited for compliance or, COAMS comes in for accreditation, you have your proof that you are doing your skills evaluations for your course. On the state's end, when you finish a course, you guys are already doing this part of it, is when you go to, say, people passed or unfortunately failed, but let's just say everybody passed because you guys are amazing program directors. So everybody is passed. You press, there's three, we'll just call them buttons, 3 buttons that you need to press. They've passed the course, they've passed the skills, and they've passed their written exam. Now, when you press the button that they have passed their skills, that is you as the program director, in essence, signing an attestation that your students have passed the skills exam. That's kind of it in a nutshell. It's kind of a super simple process. Really, it's only changing who you're asking testing materials from. The other part of it is, and we'll get the skill sheets will have the scenarios and everything like that associated with them. Now these first sets, I mean, if you ask for a testing packet, the first week of July, those scenarios are gonna look very similar to what National Registry gave you. The goal is to get all the program directors on board with myself and whoever wants to contribute to our educational testing materials, is to start coming together and building scenarios appropriate for Arizona students. I just think that would be a nice collaboration with being able to have more control over what types of scenarios are being produced, right? And as we learn and grow with these testing materials, we can actually start narrowing it down. Like, hey, these are trending medical issues that are happening in the Seams region or the North region, wherever we're at. We can start developing different scenarios for testing purposes. Now, I know one of the biggest, I don't want to say pushback, one of the biggest things or questions about this whole particular process is security of the testing materials themselves, right? Because you email me and I'm just emailing it to you. So we're working through some of those, but since we only have 2 weeks to get this particular program up and running, I'm putting my faith in trusting program directors themselves to maintain we'll just call it security of those testing materials. Now, that's the neat thing about it, is I have the ability, or we have the ability, to change scenarios, to change what things look like. So if our tests get compromised and they end up on YouTube, which they might, end up on the internet or whatnot, we can change scenarios anytime we want. The other thing that I'm looking at. Yes.
I'm sorry. We have a hand raised. Did you want to be interrupted, or do you want to take questions at the end?
But I didn't see it.
Mark Cummins.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt, and I can hold the question till later if you'd like.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to clarify a couple things, because the request to the National Registry that's done in the prior is at the ALS level only. And so never has a training center requested testing materials for the BLS. And National Registry actually stopped administering BLS skills exams almost 2 years ago now. The July 1, 2024 changes for ALS only. So are these skill sheets and these you're going to be emailing out pertaining to the ALS programs?
Yes, sir. I'm talking ALS programs only currently.
Sorry. Okay. So that's what I need to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. That would be very we'll just call it awesome, to start doing the testing skill sheets for everything, you know, the EMR, EMT, AMT, paramedic. It's just right now we're going to focus on ALS because we're in a kind of a time crunch, right? So we're just going to do that ALS portion for the moment. And then, like I said, I would really, really, really love for program directors to get involved, to help me with scenarios, to help me kind of grow this into something that we can be proud of, right? This is kind of the fixing the gap. You know, when National Registry takes their skills away, we found it in the rules to where we can actually facilitate it in the program the way we just described. Going forward, that's where I'd like to have the collaboration with all of the programs, so everybody, each one of you, can have a say and have a buy-in to how we're actually developing these skills. But again, currently it's just for ALS testing. So if you're a BLS person, you don't need to do this at the moment. But I'm really, really, really trying to keep everything as simple as possible, right? So again, 10 days before you're going to do your final exams, you would email myself. I'll send you a packet. I'm trusting that you're going to keep that packet secure and not distributed anywhere until the day of testing. And like I said, you keep it on file for compliance. You're signing the attestation. I shouldn't say signing. You're clicking the button that says your student passed. That's saying you attested them that they actually did their skills. That way, on the state side, we know that they did it because we trust and have faith in the program directors to be keeping that. I went through that kind of really fast. So does anybody have any questions out there on what our current plan is and the direction we're going with the skills exam? I'm not hearing anything. With most of the time, that is either two things. One, really good and nobody has any real complaints yet, or nobody was really paying attention. So
I'd like to ask a question if it's okay.
oh, absolutely. Go.
My name's Terrell Fisher. I'm the medical director of a new program we're hoping to start at the University of Arizona. We're currently working on our accreditation process. So it looks like you guys put a ton of great work into this, which is excellent. My question to you guys was, do you know how many other states are continuing to do a practical exam like this? Because it was kind of my understanding that the National Registry was trying to put this emphasis on the programs itself.
Yeah, so I couldn't give you an actual number, right? That, like, 10 states or whatnot. We have been having meetings throughout this on the national level on what people were going to do. I haven't heard any official word on what other states are going to do because I've just been digging into our statutes and rules to make sure that we're good for July 1st. So unfortunately, right now, I couldn't give you an exact number of how many other states are.
Would it take a statutory change for the skills to no longer be in existence? Is that kind of what we're faced against?
Exactly. So we would have to change the rules and statutes, which is a lot more difficult for us to do than just to follow. We can follow the current set of rules by doing the program that we're currently setting up.
Okay, that makes sense. Has there been any thought, or is there anything we could do to maybe lean that way? And the only reason I ask is obviously I've been through medical education and you guys are all very good educators, but the whole medical education system seems to be kind of steering away from this kind of stuff. And it almost feels like we're behind continuing to do it, which I understand we're doing for statutory reasons. And I understand you put a lot of work into it. I'm just seeing if we think this is a long-term thing or kind of like a short-term Band-Aid.
Well, it's kind of twofold. So two things. That's why we're using this particular system to bridge the gap, right? And then we can evaluate it as a group. Do we still want to do this or not? And if we start leaning towards the fact that, this isn't really making any sense, then we can come together as a program director and training center group to then try to do a statutory change.
Okay, that sounds great. And I know you put a lot of work into it. I was just kind of trying to make it all make sense in my mind. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Any other?
You have another hand raised for Charles Griffiths.
Hi, this is Charles with the Chandler Fire Department. We have a program that we're running currently right now, and I know that you said that we're going to send out and request the testing material 10 days ahead of time, and that you alluded to it's going to be very similar to what National Registry we've done in the past. So my question is, if at a minimum, can you tell me, are we doing the out of hospital type scenarios where we're 20 minutes? And because it requires me to get more bodies there when I do these testing, and 10 days is not enough for me to get the bodies in position to run those tests.
We're going to run it like so yes, that particular scenario that you're talking about, 10 days was just the minimum. If you wanted to send me an email 20 days prior to your testing, what I don't want is the day before you're going to test, I get an email, right?
Okay.
Days is just the minimum, so I can get it squared away and get you. If it's that's fine. It's just minimum is 10 days.
Okay, perfect. No, if we can get it sooner, then I can start getting our manpower where it needs to be. Perfect. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions out there about the psychomotor skills exam and our plan? Hopefully everybody's at least halfway okay on board with the direction we're going. I'm more excited about getting everybody's input once we get moving along, right? We get everything out there. So I'm going to start asking you guys. I'm going to lean on you guys, actually, to be honest with you, to help me write different scenarios. Just because part of the state will have their different ideas on how a scenario should be, or the type of scenario, those kind of things. So we can really start drilling down on some good scenarios that we can do, or evaluation sheets if we want things changed. The neat thing about it is, so it's in the rules and regulations and the statutes that the state of Arizona requires you to do a skills station, right? We have control over what those skills stations look like. That's the neat part of the whole thing. So we can start designing exam materials as we move forward. Like I said, in these initial ones, it's going to look very similar to National Registry. As we come together more often, if you guys would like, or if you want to just work with me, one-on-one, that's absolutely fine. I just would like to get more input on the testing materials themselves from the program directors, because you guys are the ones, at the end of the day, I'm sitting up here trying to make the assessments and the scenarios. You guys, as the program directors, are the ones that actually have to use the tool. So I would like to have input from the people that actually have to use the system, not just me sitting up here going, oh, this kind of sort of looks neat. I want the input from the people that actually have to use it. So that's where I'm trying to take this whole skills assessment center. Any questions so far? If not, and everybody's fairly good and understands the plan, we'll move on to a newsletter. If nobody else has any questions, thoughts, concerns, solutions for psychomotor skills assessment plan. Excellent. All right. So the next thing on my agenda was, I just wanted to talk really quick about a training center newsletter. I have one created for June, right? So I would like to start sending out a newsletter that's just talking about, and it's training center specific, right? So it'll have a little bit of news. So this first one is going to kind of talk about, once again, the skills assessment and the plan. But the next part is kind of a rules review, just kind of sending it out there like, hey, don't forget out there. And then the bottom section is a training center spotlight. So currently, the newsletter that I'm about to send out, it has a lot of information on there. The two programs that we're highlighting are Pima Community College here in Tucson and Eastern Arizona College up in Yuma. And it's just kind of like a brief who they are, who's the program manager, a neat little tidbit about their college itself, and then a link to their particular program. Why I'm trying to do this, one, is to pump out more information. I like communication. So if you guys ever feel free to call, text, write, whatever you want to do. I love to interact with everybody and make sure we're all on the same page. That's what the newsletter is for. It's just another avenue to get information out to you. The other piece that I would like is for all the program directors to start talking to each other. Now, I know, the north end of the state talk to each other. Everybody on the south end of the state talks to each other, but it would be nice to have some collaboration throughout all of Arizona. So the Coconino College is talking to Pima College, and Eastern Arizona is talking to Central. And you guys might do that on a little bit of at sometimes, but I would just like to increase the communication between all of us throughout Arizona. So that's it's where we're going to go with that newsletter. And like I said, the newsletter itself, coming from the training center, coming from me actually, is specific to training centers. That's all it's going to talk about. That's its sole focus. Okay. So that's where we're headed with the newsletter. Does anybody have any questions about the newsletter? Awesome. You guys are great. So now you can see on the agenda, I have a section there called Special Training Required Resources. And you'll see it says if time allows, because I didn't think the other two pieces were going to go that fast. So with that said, what I'm trying to do is, and throughout, whether it's EMT, through BLS, ALS, whichever, there's some things that you have the STRs or the special training required. So one of my issues when I was a base hospital manager is I would try to go to find like PowerPoints or resources on all of these STRs, and they were very hard to find. They need to be updated. So what I would like to do is start to update all of the STRs and have them in one location on the DHS website, so you guys can find them if you need them. It's not a secret. Here's my ask of all of the instructors and medical directors and program directors, is I could use some help. So if you have a special interest in one or two of the STRs and would like to put a PowerPoint presentation together and send it to me so we can like really get these things narrowed down and get them on the website so everybody can have access to them, that's where I'm going with it, right? I would like to have them all updated and everything. And just as a kudos to whoever does one of the PowerPoints, absolutely at the end, we're going to say that you're the one that put it together, edited by, we could say me, however we want to do that. But I absolutely want the program director who took the time and energy to do that STR PowerPoint to get credit for it, right? Just let me know via email if you would like to help me with this particular project. If nobody wants to help, then that means I'll be doing about 900 STR PowerPoints by myself. So it'd be really awesome to get that collaboration and feedback from everybody in Arizona. So that would be super cool. I can't really tell.
Big lift. That's
Yeah.
me. It's me. That's
Awesome.
a great news to hear about the STRs getting redone. And let me know if you want me to add anything to the education committee agenda for July.
Oh, I absolutely will. Yeah, because I wasn't sure if we were going to get to this one, but yeah, I will absolutely tie in with you for the education committee and some of this stuff for sure. But like I said, so that's where we're going with STRs. Does anybody have any questions on STR and resources and where I'm trying to take that piece of the program? Now that's a long-term project. We're not going to get that one done by tomorrow or anything. We'll slowly chip away at that one. Hopefully, get one or two done a month or something like that, just to really, really knock them out. If you want to be involved in that program, please just reach out to me. I'll keep track of who's working on what STR PowerPoint, just simply so we don't have two people working on the same one. Right, because that would be bad if we had two of the same ones, but no worries. So other than that, I would really, really, really like for us as program managers, directors, instructors, be able to meet more often. We don't have to really talk about anything special. it would just be nice to be able to keep that line of communication going with the program managers or program directors and instructors. If you guys have questions that pop up, I didn't know if you guys would be willing to maybe like a bi-monthly meetup type of a thing, just to stay in contact. On the agenda, I just kind of threw this one out there, August 30th. I don't know if that's doable or not. It just happened to be the last Friday of the month. I don't know if that could be a neat thing, or we can decide on that later. But it would be nice for all of us to stay in contact and kind of meet, go through some things, see how everybody's doing. So I can send out an invite. Maybe we have some comments right now about an August 30th, Friday at a 9 o'clock meeting, if everybody agrees. Awesome. I thought, oh,
Everybody's on board. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
We
Awesome.
did have a question come up in the chat area.
Yeah.
Caitlin Walters, do you want me to read it out loud, or do you have access to your chat in call messages bit?
go ahead and read it because I can't see it.
Okay. Caitlin Walters, 2 questions. 1, in preparing the students for success with this, will the skills be exactly like what NREMT is utilizing prior to the July 1 change? And then question 2.
Yes.
Answer is yes. Question 2, if 10 days is the minimum time, let's request the skills form. What is the earliest we may request them and schedule our testing date with you?
2 things. 1, let's go the earliest of 30 days would be the earliest. And your actual testing date doesn't have to be scheduled with me. I'm just here to send you the exam materials. The testing date you decide in your course. Did that answer the question, I hope?
Caitlin, how does that sound? She replied, yes, thank you. And then Mark Pulio commented, looks forward to the meetings. So on board with August 30th at 9 a.m.
Excellent. Okay, I will make sure I get an invite sent out for August 30th at 9 a.m. Currently, since we're in a meeting, I have no idea what we're going to talk about on August 30th, but I am sure we'll have something come up right then. Other than that, that is really all I had for today. I just wanted to go over where the plan moving forward for the skills assessment, our newsletter. I'm really excited that if everybody, not everybody, or some people would like to help out with the STRs PowerPoints, that's super exciting. And I'm glad we all got to meet. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to text, call, write, whatever you want to do.
We have one more in the chat if you'd like. From Lauren, does the testing need to be completed before the last day of the course?
Yes.
Okay. And then the follow-up question was, or scheduled after, as we would do with NREMT.
We can work through that. You can schedule it after, but the thing is you could do it after the course. You just have to go in and make sure that on the state side that you indicate that they passed the skills, right? So if your course has ended, it'll be cleaner and better if they do it before the end of the course. That doesn't mean they can't. It's going to be when you, in essence, are attesting to the student passing their skills.
Lauren, does that answer your questions? Sounds great. Thank you. Josh Clem said, thank you for setting up this meeting. We look forward to future meetings for the program directors. That's it for the chat.
Excellent. I appreciate everybody coming. And like I said, as always, I love the communication piece. So text me, call me, email me, whatever other forms of communication there is. I don't know.
Do you want to put your phone number in the chat section, or have me put it in there?
Are you able to do it since I'm having?
Yeah. Go ahead.
480-601-1849. Now, just for all of you out there, if you think that I read that off the box of my iPhone, I did, because I don't know my own phone number yet.
And that's okay to call and that's okay to text.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Add it to the chat area.
excellent. With that, I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you for, I know this again was a kind of a short notice. Hey, meet me in a week and we're going to go through this, but I appreciate everybody's time. My other ask is, if you know program directors that were not on this call or not on my distribution list, please let them know, because that's the only way I can get information out. You guys, when I send you guys something as a program director, you can send it out, send it to whoever you want to, so everybody can be on the same page. I don't mind. It's not secured, to us. When I'm pushing out information, everybody can have it. So don't worry about, oh, can I forward this or can I not? Absolutely 100% forward information out. So with that being said, if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and leave for today, and I look forward to working with you guys and seeing you on August 30th.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.